Hello friends, and welcome to another holiday issue of Kids Corner. Today we're going to do something that's very special to me, dear to my heart, and that is we're going to work in paper mache. Paper mache means glued or chopped paper, and you can make all sorts of wonderful things with it. I made this sculpture a while back, and this sculpture is called Duck Duck Goose. It's made out of paper mache, glued to a wine bottle is the base of this. Okay, it makes a wonderful base. We'll put that away. I'm not here to show you all my artwork, but we teach adults how to do this. We had an adult class here and we were making wine bottles. That's this little holiday Thanksgiving turkey. I've got an elf. I've got a reindeer, all for the holiday, done on a wine bottle. I have Santa, of course. You can decorate a bottle, and adults might give that to their neighbors or their friends. But imagine you have some glassware that the paper is glued to. I can now do all sorts of things with this. This is what I want kids to do. And kids that are as young as maybe first and second grade, all the way up, lots of fun can be done with this. I recently had a family here, and we did bottles. Everybody did their own. I did this holiday harvest bottle, a corn bottle. It's just a glass like a big pickle bottle, and I covered it in paper, and I glued this with one of my favorite paper mache glues, and that is art paste. Art paste made by Elmer's. It's a nice paste. It's a cellulose or a plastic glue. This is something you probably don't want to buy. It works very well, but when you mix this little bag of powder with water, it makes a gallon of glue. That's a lot of glue. I go through a lot here. Might not be what you do at home. So what we're going to do is teach you something a little different in a project that we call Build a Bottle. So I have a bottle here. I want to glue paper to it. What I'm going to do is take a little plastic container, and in that container I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of Elmer's glue or white glue. And to the 2 tablespoons of glue, I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of water. I'm going to stir that together. I might need a little more or less water, but I want it to be the consistency, the thickness of whole milk or cream. I want it to be liquid, but not like water. So this is a little bit like a thick milk or cream. I have paper here I've pre-torn, and you'll notice the size of it. This is about the biggest I would ever use. To do paper mache in a way that's neat and orderly, and you'll see I'm not wearing a smock. You might want to wear one at home. I have covered the table. This can be a little messy. It doesn't have to be really messy. I know people that think paper mache is terribly messy. It's not. Let me show you. I have my bottle. I have my glue. I have different colors of paper ready to go. This is like my paint palette. All my colors are ready. So I'm going to create a little snowy scene, maybe put a Christmas tree on it. I'm going to start with a piece of paper, and the way you paper mache is you do not dip the paper in the glue. The way you glue is to put a finger in the glue and rub it on the paper. So here we go. Don't be afraid to get your hands a little messy. If you're using art paste, the art paste on your hands feels a little bit like hand sanitizer. Okay? So here's my first sticky piece of paper. My bottle's upside down. I put it right across the middle. And I rub it on. Rubbing is important. Now, how do you know you used the right amount of glue? It's really simple. I'm going to use my next piece of paper. I think I'll use gray. I have lavender, gray, and white to indicate sort of a snowy outside color. The right amount of glue, I put it on both sides of the paper using my hands. I don't dip this in the glue. The right amount of glue means the paper sticks. If the paper doesn't stick, use more glue, or maybe you have to thicken up your watery glue. But there, that sticks. You rub it on. The white's in the middle. I'm going to put gray on both sides of it. I always like to use torn paper. I like the torn natural edge to the paper. There we go. Now, if you're dripping glue all over the table, you're using too much glue. So the rules are simple. Glue all over the table, you're using too much, use less. The paper doesn't stick, use more. So there's the beginning of the bottom. The next layer might be a purple piece. I'll take a little bit of purple, put glue on it, and I'll keep building up these layers. Now, this bigger piece to go over the edge, whenever you go over a curve, you need smaller pieces of paper. So I may take this bigger piece and tear it smaller to go over this curve on the edge. A big piece of paper just won't go over a curve and stay smooth. It'll wrinkle terribly. So as you tear it, it'll make a nice smooth edge. Do this side. And then maybe the next layer will be a piece of paper that I will glue up. Again, you dip your fingers in the glue, and I'll go all the way around and start going all around the bottom. Now I'll finish that a little bit later. Okay, I have paper towels here. I can clean things up a little bit there. Here's one I've already done. Now, once you have the bottom of the bottle done, it has to dry. You can't turn it over. It'll stick to, I got paper here. It'll stick, okay? So, easiest way to dry it is I can take it over here in my art studio, and I have several hair dryers over there. Dry it. It's dry in 5 minutes, okay? Or less. Doesn't take long. I just did this one a few minutes ago. It's dry. I can now turn it over and keep going. So I did white. Let's see. The next color I want is gray on here. So I'll dip my fingers in here, and I'll put a piece of gray on here, like this. There we go. And then I get to the shoulder. So if the next piece is purple, as I get to the shoulder of this bottle, for the next piece, I might want to take this piece of paper and tear it into smaller pieces. Otherwise, it's going to wrinkle. So the smaller the piece, the better it is. So the secret to paper mache is use smaller pieces. People think you use big pieces, you dip it, you squeegee it off, it splashes. Next thing you know, you got a glue fight. You don't want to have that. So when I get to the top, I can do fancy things up there. I could take a piece of paper, and I'll show you what I did here in just a minute. I can take this paper and fold it. That's 2 layers of paper, and I can make little tabs that stick up, some finished flower kind of top. I can sculpt this, do lots of fun things with it. Okay, but once the bottle is done, you don't want to go back and keep touching it. Once the glue's dry, it's plastic, it'll be nice and strong, it'll be finished. But as this is drying, as I just did this a few minutes ago, if I take glue on my fingers and start touching this, if I'm stickier, my hands are stickier than the paper, it wants to stick to me. So right here, I have some water. You might want to, every once in a while, stop, wash your hands off, because you don't want to be stickier than the paper, okay? But that's just as the glue thickens up. Okay, now how am I going to finish this? This bottle I finished with a beautiful snowman. Okay, I did the whole bottle with different stripes, just like I'm doing now, different colors, and I made a snowman, glued them on. Okay, the eyeballs and the coal down the front of the snowman was finished off with a marker. So if I take a piece of paper and cut it to look like a Christmas tree, I can draw on this, but I have to use permanent markers. I have a box full of permanent Sharpies here, but I also have little papers here. So if I take this little Christmas tree, and I got little punched out pieces of paper, you might be able to see this little piece of red, and if I take that with a little bit of glue on it, stick it on there, I just made a red ornament on the tree right there. If I put some glue at the top of the tree and glue my star on the top of the tree, I start decorating this, then I can use Sharpies and I can build the whole tree. Okay, now this I did just a short while ago. Doesn't take long for the glue to dry. And here's my bottle. So to finish it off, I'll take some glue, put it on the back of the tree with my fingers, and the front of the tree. Again, this is a plastic, so it's going to kind of create a finish on the paper. There we go, a nice sticky tree, and I'll be able to stick that on my bottle. A little extra glue to make sure it's stuck down really well. When that's dry, that's going to be stuck on there. One thing I think I'd like to add on the bottom of the tree down here, I think I'd like to add a little snow there. So I'm going to take a little piece of paper I have torn here, a little piece of white paper, glue it over the bottom of the tree. Put a little snow at the bottom of the tree. Can you see that? And if I have this done up here, again, up on the top edge, use smaller pieces of paper. Let that dry completely overnight, and I'll be all set and finished. So here's a snowman that I made. I did put the fancy tabs on the top and decorations. His nose sticks out. I did that by smushing up a little clump of orange paper, put it on there, and made sure it was stuck on really well, some extra long pieces. And I made the snowman's head, cut a hole where his nose is, and stuck it right over his nose that was already stuck to the bottle. Added some snowflakes. That's a beautiful bottle. I really like that one. Little pickle bottle. I like my snowman. I'm going to finish my tree. And I'm going to have a lot of fun here. If I keep the lid for the bottle, maybe decorate that, this could be a container that would hold a nice gift for my wife or a friend. You're my friend. I hope you enjoyed watching build a bottle for the holiday season. Paper mache at home, you can paper mache all sorts of things. And if you don't have a good paper mache glue, and again, Art Paste by Elmer's, really good paper mache glue, but it makes a lot. Not very expensive. At home, you can try this. Some people use flour and water. Works fine. The old days, we used to use wheat paste. The problem with flour or wheat paste, you can't store it overnight, okay? Because it will rot overnight. We want your holiday to smell nice. We're at home, most of us. We're kind of taking it a little bit easy. Staying at home, sheltered in place a little bit. Stay safe. Create. Have a good holiday.